When I didn't know much about gang stalking, I used to go on Quora or Reddit to find helpful information about gang stalking. I never found any helpful information. Quite the contrary, I found stories that really worsened my experience. You see, what gang stalking does is that it gives you a lens through which to interpret the results of gang stalking. You get to the conclusion before you actually get the symptom. For example, the moment that you are targeted, you know that that gang stalking is real. You go online, you type gang stalking, and then you see all of the stories about people getting followed, about the directed energy weapons, about the V2K. You are fed that narrative before you even have voices. And when you have voices, you think, oh my God, it was real. It was the V2K. It was real. You hear about people suffering weird sensations because of the directed energy weapons before you feel your first directed energy weapon. So that way, whenever gang stalking years later is beginning to produce all the weird sensations, all the voices in your head, you are primed to believe that they are directed energy weapons. That's exactly why most people that get gang stalked immediately believe that their devices are being hacked, that gang stalkers do everything possible to make sure that you find their narrative instead of the truth first. During this search, I found on Quora a person saying that gang stalkers moved their vents in their car to tell them that gang stalkers had access to their car. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, that person must have misinterpreted what happened. She or he moved the vents of their car and didn't even realize. Or the vibration of the driving moved the vents. That was my first assumption. So then what I began doing is go on YouTube to find more information about this. And I found this video. Look, let me show it to you.
The thing nightmares are made of.
It's so creepy that I decided to have a bolt put on the door, and I'm having my son sleep in here with me.
Creepy only begins to describe it.
It's like an alternate reality, really.
When she'd get home from work, Fasika Tafara started noticing things out of place in her home.
They were just all open, but what was weird is, so for example, they were open like this, but they were all at the same level.
First, the windows, then lights turned on. Her cabinets pulled out.
It's intended to let me know that somebody has been here, essentially, right? So all of the drawers have been pulled out. And
something strange every single day for almost the past month. She finally realized someone has been coming inside.
Are people following me? And then I started to wonder also, well, how do they know when I'm here and when I'm not here?
Then Tafara found this small camera in her 11-year-old son's bedroom. So she took to the internet and started digging. What she found? Something called community or gang stalking. It's an eerie practice aimed at your psyche to make you almost feel like you're going crazy.
It's spooky, and my understanding is that if this is in fact what it is, it can go on for years,
Only you're not. Tafara left her phone recording audio at her house. Listen, you can hear what sounds like people rummaging around.
Oh my God, I had that phone. I totally had that phone. It was the 6S Plus. One of my favorite phones ever.
On one, you can hear what sounds like drilling.
So this hole here has been cut into the attic space.
Tafara says detectives have been to the house.
Kind of like, if it happens again, call us, but there's not much we can do.
Something that makes this even more terrifying.
This video opens a number of possibilities, and it makes comments such as the one that I have here on the screen possible. I'm going to read it to you. I got this one from a Facebook group that is called Psychological Torture, and it reads as follows. These rootless people are coming into my house when I'm gone and taking things they don't think I notice. But I have the memory of an elephant, and they are taking things one at a time. If I ever catch them, they're going to meet God real fast. If you've been in this channel for a while, you know that I'm going to be the first one to discount these stories. But the truth is that there is a very high possibility that this is true. I'm going to tell you my own personal experience where I sat into my car and someone moved the vents when I wasn't in my car. Look, during my gang stalking, someone copied the key of my car. And look, It happened at the Supercuts in National City. I was getting a haircut, and someone walked in and said, "Oh, I'm here to get a very special key. I'm not making this up. This sounds unbelievable. If someone would tell me this story, I personally would have not believed it. But this happened to me. Look, I was waiting to get a haircut, and my stylist at that time, I had been with her for years. And this day she was acting really weird, and I waited a really long time for my haircut. I was beginning to feel anxiety. And I actually got mad. Well, while I was waiting, someone there literally told me, "I'm here to get a very special key." And I thought that was weird because the person said it in a really weird intonation. So then I asked the lady at the front, "How long do you know? How long do I have? How long? Hang on. I'm getting a lot of emotion while I'm telling you the story. That's why I'm stuttering all of a sudden. How long do I have to wait for my haircut? Because it has been a really long time." And she was like, "Oh, maybe like half hour." And it had been like an hour and a half already. So I said, "Okay." Then I went to Smart and Final and bought a snack or a bottle of water. I'm not sure. So then I went to my car and then I pressed the key fob and the car didn't open, which was something super, super, super strange that had never once happened to my car. So then I pressed it again and it didn't open, and then I pressed it again and then it opened. Then I kept pushing it, and then it closed, and then it opened. So my key fob wasn't working for some reason. So then BMW keys have an actual physical key on them. So I pushed the button and then I opened it with the actual physical key inside the key fob. First thing that I do is go on my phone, copying key scam, and I found it. What is on the screen is actually what happened to me. Look, I'm gonna tell you what happened. This exactly what I'm telling you happened to me. I know exactly that this is exactly what happened. And it says, "One thief stands near your home, office, or anywhere you may be with a device that can capture the faint radio signal your key fob constantly emits. The device amplifies the signal and transmits it to an accomplice who is standing next to your car." Actually, no, this is not it. Hang on. Well, I couldn't find it on the internet anymore, but this is how the scam that was done on me works. The signal for my key fob was jammed. Someone jammed it. So then I kept pressing the unlock button, but because my signal was jammed from my car unlocking, my car didn't open. That's why it wasn't opening. So then I kept pressing the open button. And when I was pressing the open button, someone copied that signal that my key was projecting. That's why when I stopped pressing it, my car opened for no reason because that meant that someone had successfully confirmed that they had copied the key fob key from my car. I knew at that point that gangstalkers had access to my car. I knew it. After that moment, that's when a lot of crazy things began happening to my car. My things would disappear, one sandal would disappear, my car would be moved somewhere else. And this even happened when I was staying at the homeless shelter. So I was staying at the homeless shelter and I got into my car and I noticed that the vents of my car were moved. So then I was like, oh my God, dude, what I read on Quora about gang stalkers moving your vents to show you that they were in your car are true. This explained a lot because a lot of things that I had in my car went missing. A lot of clothes went missing. A lot of really valuable things were simply gone for no apparent reason. That's why at the end, I stopped buying any more clothes because I knew they were going to get stolen. I also knew that if I would tell anyone that someone had access to my car and they wouldn't steal my car, they only would use the entrance to keep messing with me or their access to mess with me. It was so hard to believe, and especially back then that I didn't know as much about gang stalking as I do now, and I didn't know better than to stay away from people who use substances. So you know that your credibility is gonna be effed up the A because well, my credibility to not only to me but from anyone else, no one would believe me. I know that no one would have believed me at that point because of the substance abuse that I experienced back then. I didn't know that there were going to be people pushing these ideas into my head, and that was what kept me in addicted to substances for so many years. I didn't know that that was a thing. So just understand that gang stalkers will do little things here and there, little things here and there. And even though this one here that says these ruthless people are coming into my house when I'm gone and taking things they don't think I noticed, but I have the memory of an elephant, and they are taking things one at a time. If I ever catch them, they're going to meet God real fast. Like, please understand that these things actually do happen, and I'm telling you that they do happen because I experienced them. When I tell you that someone moved my vents, they didn't only move my vents, but they stole a lot of things from me. Like a lot of things from me. And gang stalkers left the things out of order in my car to make sure that I knew that they were there. But if I would ever tell anyone, no one really would believe me. But I knew that gang stalkers had access to my car. So the primary reason that I couldn't grow during my gang stalking was because gang stalkers literally attacked every area of my life just so that I wouldn't be able to move forward. My gang stalkers locked me out of my car and I had to pay $300 to get it unlocked. And this happened when I was washing my car. I was washing my car. I left my keys inside my car, and my the doors were closed, but the car was unlocked. I had didn't have the keys on me, so my car just got locked. Someone locked it, and it was like 5 minutes before I started my shift at work. When this happened, I didn't accuse anyone. As soon as it locked, I said, "Don't react. Don't react. Just walk to work and say what happened to you. Say what's happening." And it was a Sunday, so most locksmiths were not available on a freaking Sunday, especially to open a BMW. So if you are a victim of gang stalking, for the love of God, never ever leave your keys in your car. Never leave your keys in your car. Always, always, and forever have your keys in your pocket. Especially if you're living in your car. Leave your keys in your pocket. I have decided to never use a key fob on my car. I don't use it. I don't use the key fob on my car. I use the physical key because I don't want that to happen to me again. I am scared shitless of that happening to me again. Understand that if you are gang stalked, you are actually targeted. People are going to actively try to mess with you in as many ways as possible. Whenever I was raising up money, gang stalkers always made sure to cause problems that would make me spend money. So the precautions that I can tell you is to make sure that gang stalkers are scared of messing with you. What I should have done is I should have invested in an alarm system on my car. And I should have known better than to never leave my phone or my keys unattended. Never. Not once. Ever. Because if a gang stalker sees that you stop paying attention to your phone, they are gonna steal it from you. It's gonna get stolen. Your keys are gonna get stolen. Because that means that gang stalkers made you spend money that you didn't have to spend. Gang stalkers will steal little things, but you have to understand that regardless of how small the thing that is stolen from you is, you have to take it seriously. Because how gang stalking works is that they steal little things from you until you have nothing. The first thing that you have to do when you notice that anyone is messing with your belongings, you want to make sure to have as much surveillance as possible. Because when you are a targeted individual, putting surveillance doesn't mean that you're paranoid. Putting surveillance means that you have enough suspicion of people messing with you to the point where you feel obligated to put cameras because of your safety. I made the mistake of never taking creating evidence seriously. I didn't. And things would have been a lot more different if I would have done that. So if you're a targeted individual, if things just happen to be moved around or be missing, please understand that it's really, really, really possible. It's really possible that that can happen. And the effect of this is that when you're gang stalked, if you happen to misplace something and you don't know where it is, the fact that gang stalkers have messed with your belongings, have stolen from you, that in itself is gonna traumatize you. And whenever you misplace something, you're gonna naturally make the assumption that gang stalkers stole it from you. Which, let me tell you, it's justified. The suspicion that gang stalkers stole something that you misplaced is valid because you have been victimized by these people. So my suggestion for this person, for Dan Dan, is to put as much surveillance as you can. You want to make sure to always have your car keys in your pocket, and you want to make sure to always keep an eye on your belongings. Never get comfortable leaving your belongings unattended in public places. I did that at the gym, and I did that with my phone at the gym, and I saw my client literally trying to break my phone. I didn't say anything because I didn't know how to react, so I didn't react at all. I never said anything because I knew that right at the point where if I would have said something, I know that this person would have called me crazy. So what you want to do is that you want to minimize the possibility of anyone calling you crazy by taking all the precautions necessary to keep you, your environment, and the things that you value safe. If you are being gang stalked, never leave your belongings unattended anywhere at work, keys, phone in your pocket. Never put those out of your sight. One of the times that my phone got stolen, it was stolen because I was wearing leggings and I literally just put that on my on my on my shopping basket. And next thing I know, my phone was gone. And the truth is that after a while of gang stalking, anyone, you cannot certainly blame your misfortunes on gang stalking because the truth is that you really don't know. But it's highly likely that it was a gang stalker. It's highly likely. So you want to minimize the possibility of anyone stealing anything by taking all the precautions necessary. When you are gang stalked, you cannot get comfortable leaving your anything unattended. Please understand this, okay? If you find this content helpful, or if it added any value to your life, please consider pushing the like button, subscribing, dropping a comment, or dropping a like. The purpose of the channel is to explain everything about gang stalking to the point where it's understood with such clarity that gang stalking cannot take place, where people have the knowledge about it enough so that they understand exactly how to deal with it before it actually evolves into something more difficult. Gang stalking literally made me homeless. It made me hear voices. It made me lose my mind. It made me a drug addict. It made me an infomaniac. It made me lose everything. And I don't want that experience to go to waste by keeping that experience to myself. I want to make sure to share all of that with the intention of helping those that need this knowledge so that they are able to beat gang stalking before it impacts their lives too profoundly. If you do not know who I am, hello, I am your host, EFREN Rodriguez Guerrero, self-proclaimed gang stalking expert. I have been a target of gang stalking for 8 years, and the only reason that I can make these videos is because I understood enough of it to the point where I developed a set of systems and obtained enough knowledge of it so that I can stay clear of it. If you would like to help my mission of making the concept and the knowledge of gang stalking mainstream, please consider supporting the channel by becoming a member or by making a donation to my PayPal. There's a link to it in the description of the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.